You are in charge of a mission-critical human resources application. Today, you're just minding your own business when you receive a SOC alert that you've been compromised. But how could this happen? We have our next generation firewall, we have endpoint protection, we even have a secure access service edge. How could we have possibly become vulnerable? Well, today we're going to get into this, and we're going to talk about a tool that allows you to test your red team penetration testing skills and your blue team posture and incident response skills in real time. This application is called AWSGoat. It's a vulnerable AWS cloud infrastructure, and we're going to go through this. We'll be installing this amazing tool using infrastructure as code in the form of Terraform. Now let's walk through the installation. And as you can see here, AWSGoat encompasses a lot of different vulnerabilities such as cross-site scripting, SQL injection, server-side request forgery, S3 misconfigurations, IAM privilege escalations, and more. So now we're going to walk down and look at the instructions. They do provide a way for you to deploy the application directly from GitHub, but that involves entering your AWS key and secret access key in GitHub. I prefer not to do that. I'm going to go ahead and launch this from my command line using Terraform. And I've already cloned the repository, so now we just have to go ahead and deploy the modules. Now, one thing you want to do is be sure that you've already configured AWS. I've already done that, but you can verify that by just typing a simple command here, AWS configure list, and it will give you a hashed out version of your configuration there. So I'm going to go ahead and verify connectivity here, and it'll show you what account I'm using to do that. But those are just some simple ways that you can verify that. I'm already here in the AWSGoat directory, and you can see all of the different files here as I treat it. A lot of different information in here. So we're going to go ahead and navigate to the area that I need to. And for this, we're going to use module 2. So now that we are in the directory of module 2, I've already done my Terraform init. So you can see the files here. I'm going to go ahead and run the Terraform apply command, and we are going to let this install, and I will be back when this is complete. And now our AWSGoat vulnerable cloud architecture has been launched. And then we'll bring up the UI here. So let me move over to the browser, and we'll punch this in right here, just over port 80. And now we have our login. So now we're ready to get started with one of the challenges so we can demonstrate why you need cloud security and how this AWSGoat vulnerable cloud architecture helps you with your threat modeling and preparation for a secure cloud environment. So now we've got our complete AWSGoat vulnerable cloud architecture launched, and you can get an idea of the components that go with this right here. So now what we're going to do, we're going to attempt a SQL injection attack to exploit a vulnerability where there's no back-end checks. And I'll show you exactly what I mean here. So I'm going to go ahead and punch in SQL code here. And then for the password, I'm just going to put anything because it doesn't matter. And when I hit login, you can see that there is a front-end logic check on the UI that goes and looks for an email address. We don't have it. So on the front end, there is logic to protect that. But what happens if we inspect the code and we go in and we find input type email? What happens here if we change that and say, now input type can be text? So what happens? So let's go here and hit login. And there you have it. We have just now exploited the AWSGoat HR site using SQL injection. This wasn't a malicious malware packet. This wasn't a phishing attack. This wasn't ransomware. This was just simple exploitation of vulnerable logic within the web application. And now you have a better idea of why a complete security posture is critical to a safe and secure cloud environment. Thank you for joining me and stay secure.